the President of the United States is asking you. And all of a sudden, the phone goes off. And she called it right away. POTUS. You've been about it for 4 years. Want to come back fix it? She's damn right I do. True story. I was the third in command at ICE, Executive Associate Director for ERO, Enforcement Mobile Operations. In the time I spent there, we removed, I don't know, over a million illegal aliens when I was there in that position for 3 years. But after 8 years of Barack Obama, it was Hillary Clinton versus President Trump. I was convinced Hillary's going to win. Convinced. I think most of America was, because she was so far behind the polls. So before the election, I announced my retirement, because I've had it. After 8 years of Obama, I'm not spending 4 years with Clinton. I'm not going to do it. So I signed a contract with this company that paid me 3 times as much as I made for ice guy. So I signed a contract to announce my retirement. I gave him 120 days. I will leave in January, right after, the inauguration. Well, my retirement party, anyway, back up. So the election happened. So next morning I wake up, I remember my wife saying, Trump won. Now what are you going to do? Well, I already announced my retirement, already signed his contract, so I said, I got to go. I already got these things lined up. So at my retirement party, a lot of people show up. Saddest day of my life, January 2017, because after over 3 decades doing the job, that was my last day. And when you carry a badge and gun, you do this job for so long, it becomes a big part of who you are. And I knew that day I was going to leave that building, and I'm a homeless civilian for the first time in 34 years. So at the end of the retirement ceremony, I was shaking hands with my wife, and I got an emergency phone call from John Kelly, who was was the Secretary of Homeland Security. So I took the phone call with John Kelly, and he says, Tom, I know this is bad timing, but the president, like you're staying right in the agency, which is going to be a 2-step promotion. I said, sir, it's bad timing. I just retired. He goes, no, you didn't. Paperwork's on my desk, hasn't been signed. So I said, well, sir, all due respect, my family's been through an awful lot. Multiple moves, death threats, protests at my home. I says, I got to talk to my family about this. Plus, I signed a contract with this company. I don't know what my legal obligations are on that. This is a Friday. I said, can I have till Monday to think about this? He goes, certainly. I remember what he said before I hung up. He goes, let me leave you with this thought, Tom. And I remember this word for it. He goes, Tom, the President of the United States is asking you, a career law enforcement officer, to serve the country a little bit longer. He needs your help, Tom. I'll call you Monday, 0600. So on the way home, my wife asked me what was the phone call about, and I told her. She looks at me and she goes, hell no, not doing it. We've been through too much. I said, but it's the President of the United States. She said, I don't care. Been through too much. So after a weekend of fighting, Sunday night, we were laying in bed, and she asked, what are you going to do? I said, what do you think I'm going to do? She goes, you're going to do that, aren't you? I said, of course. President of the United States. She asked me to help. I won't stay. And she, God love her, she said, okay, I'll support you on it. So the next day, he called me up and said, what say you? I said, let's do it. So the next day, I show up at the ICE office to the amazement of hundreds of people who gave me great gifts Friday, thought I was leaving. And the first people I ran into in my office were ethics attorneys who had a list of all the gifts I got. Said, you got to return all these gifts because these are all the employees now again. I remember they said, there's a $500 gift certificate your wife got. We need that back. I said, look, guys, she's already pissed. I said, let me write you a check for the $500. I'm not going to ask for the gifts back. So they took all the gifts back, which is cool. And the next day, I'm on Air Force One, the president. It's the first time I ever met the man. Wow. I asked him, what's my marching order? He says, do your job that you haven't been able to do for the last 4 years. Now he wants you to do it. Go enforce law. So fast forward a second time, I'm actually out to dinner with my wife, and my cell phone was sitting on the table, and we were eating, and all of a sudden the phone goes off. And she called it right away. It's POTUS. Came up, call ID. She goes, oh my God. He goes, what's he want? So I excused myself, went outside, and President Trump, he made it, he asked me to come back. But done.
That fast?
Done. I woke up 4 years pissed off. He mentioned that you've been bitching about it for 4 years. Want to come back fix it? She's damn right I do. So I took it, came back and sat down. My wife says, "Did you?" Yeah. She goes, "Good." Because you've been pissed off every day. If you don't go back, you're going to be pissed off the next 4 years and then go back and fix it. So, and God bless you. It's a hell of a pay cut, but I wake up every day like a kid in a candy store because I think President Trump's the greatest president of my lifetime. As a border guy, an immigration guy, his Trump 45 unprecedented success, the most secure border we ever had in my lifetime. Now, the number's even better. As we're talking right now, we got the most secure border in the history of this nation. President Trump did in 7 weeks what Joe Biden couldn't and wouldn't do in 4 years.
Wow.
And I got a great team I work with every day. I know you mentioned earlier I got the Man of the Year Award and Border Hero Award, but you need to know at both of those acceptance, I accept it in the honor of President Trump. He should be the Man of the Year. Because without him, we couldn't be doing what we're doing right now on the border. And I also took it in honor of the men and women of the Border Patrol and ICE, who strap a gun to a hip every day to defend that border. Hang out the rest and the worst of the worst. I'm just a guy at the White House coming up with strategies and policies and putting out the way I think things should be done. It's the men and women carrying a badge and gun who deserve that award, so I took it in their honor. And President Trump, again, the game changer. I work with a team, Steve Miller, the architect. And Steve Miller's probably the most brilliant man I've ever met. Like him or love him, the guy's smarter than hell. I work with a team, and look at what President Trump brought in. Because there's all of government on the border, all of government. We got DOD, we got DOJ, right? You got Pete Hegseth, you got Pam Bondi, you got Kash Patel, you got Secretary Noem. You bring that weight onto this issue, and that's why the success is the way it is. Because you got one hell of a team. That's the dream team.
Man, you guys locked it down quick, from my understanding.
And in interior arrest, we've arrested about 3 times more criminals in a few months than Joe Biden did in a year, but people always ask me if I'm happy with the numbers. I'm not happy. I'm happy that we got a hell of a lot more than Biden did, but we need to get much more, a lot more. Because we know there's like 700,000 illegal aliens with criminal convictions or criminal charges walking the streets of this country. We got to get them. So we got a lot more work to do. Doing good, but it's not good enough yet.
We'll get into all that. I want to get